You won't believe what people are ready to pay for weird stuff. Auctions can be a lot of fun. There is no way of knowing how an item would end up selling. When there are competing parties trying to outbid each other, even things with far lesser value get skyrocketed to millions of dollars. Now let's take a look at some auctions where strange things were sold from a few $100 to the millions. Celebrities' breath. A man auctioned off a jar that he claimed could possibly be filled with the breath of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. He had nearly no evidence that it did, nor was this really ever proven. However, the jar sold for $450. Cadbury chocolate bar that is 120 years old. The chocolate bar accompanied Captain Robert Scott's first expedition to the Antarctic from 1901 to 1904. It was wrapped and uneaten in a cigarette tin. The 4-inch bar was part of the 3,300 pounds of cocoa and chocolate that Scott took on the trip. This more than 100-year-old Cadbury bar sold for $687 in 2001. A piece of cake from the 1947 wedding of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth. This cake was recently sold for $730. The very moldy cake had a note with the compliments of Prince Philip and the Queen. Human skeleton. The skeletal remains of a man wearing a tuxedo along with his wife-to-be, a female skeleton holding a Bible, was sold at auction for $950. That is one heck of a transaction. Wonder who was in the market for a couple of well-dressed human remains. Virgin Mary grilled cheese. In 2004, Diane Dicer from Florida made a sandwich but couldn't eat it for the reason that she saw an image of Virgin Mary in the bread. So she went on to hold it for 10 years. An online casino bought this for a hefty $28,000. That's a lot of cash for grilled cheese. They eventually resold it with at least part of the proceeds going to charity. Now, how does a grilled cheese not get moldy in that time? Well, scientists say if you keep moisture out, use fat to cook it, and use high calcium cheese to boost acid content, a grilled cheese can remain fresh for a number of years. A kiss from the Basic Instinct star, Sharon Stone. In 2003, as part of a charity initiative, fan Johnny Rim paid $50,000 for a 45-second kiss with the actress. The proceeds went to a Los Angeles-based charity, Project Angel Foods, which provides free meals for people with HIV and AIDS. That must have been one epic kiss. Queen Victoria's undies. And speaking of weird things, tidy undies owned by Queen Victoria, that is Queen Elizabeth's great-great-grandmother, sold in 2015 for $16,300. Her initials VR for Victoria Regina is embroidered in the royal underwear. It was so well maintained in top shape and kept in a temperature-controlled room. There was something exclusive about this large knicker, which had a 45-inch drawstring waist. So as the Queen got older and shrunk in stature, she could still wear them. That part got the collectors really eager because you can date them quite precisely to the last 10 years of her life. Baseball autographed by Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe. In 2006, a baseball signed by Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio sold for $191,000. The famous actress married and divorced New York Yankees Hall of Fame Joe DiMaggio in 1954. They recoupled at the Yankee spring training in Florida in 1961. That's where this ball from the estate of late Associated Press photographer Harry Harris was signed. And that's what makes it one of the most rare finds in baseball souvenirs. Pink Diamond Barbie. This model of the classic doll wears a black evening dress and a 1-carat pink diamond necklace with 3 carats of white diamonds around it. Designed by Australian jeweler Stefano Canturi, it sold for a whopping $303,000 in 2010. Proceeds from the auction went to breast cancer research. J.K. Rowling's chair. The chair that the author J.K. Rowling sat in as she wrote her first 2 Harry Potter books was sold at auction in 2016 for a big $394,000. The oak chair was accompanied by a letter from Rowling herself that read, "Dear new owner of my chair, I was given 4 mismatched dining room chairs in 1995, and this was the comfiest one, which is why it ended up stationed permanently in front of my typewriter, supporting me while I typed out Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. My nostalgic side is quite sad to see it go, but my back isn't. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's suit. The suit itself cost less than $1 to make, but Modi wore it during one of President Barack Obama's trips to India. It sold for a big $693,000 in 2015. Private airline owner and diamond tycoon Lalji Bhai Tulsibai Patel bought the suit to support the Namami Gange Fund, a project to clean the Ganges River. Britney Spears' locks. Remember the time when the pop star shaved off all of her hair and chased after the paparazzi with an umbrella? Yeah, that did not go down too well. The hair salon that cut her hair grabbed the opportunity and auctioned off the singer's beachy locks for more than $1 million in 2007. J.D. Salinger's toilet. In 2010, a couple bought the late and solitary author's home and decided to auction off his commode. The bid started at $1 million. The person who bought it must be proud to own it. Just to think where the author surely must have contemplated his biggest works of all. The Titanic band leader's violin. One of the most tragic tales in history is that of the sinking of the Titanic in the North Atlantic waters. We have all seen the movie and cannot forget the 8-piece band that played till the end to comfort frightened passengers. The band was led by English musician Wallace Hartley. According to CNN, Hartley's body was reportedly pulled from the water days after the April 1912 sinking, with his violin case still strapped to his back. More than a century later, in 2013, Hartley's damaged violin was sold at an auction for a big $1.7 million in less than 10 minutes. It is the most expensive artifact linked to the doomed ship. Fancy phone number. Can you believe this phone number with 7 sixes got 8 interested bidders? Qatar Telecom in Doha offered this number during a charity auction. The bidding came down to 2 competitors, each of whom really wanted those digits. It sold for a huge $2.75 million in 2006. Lunch with Warren Buffett. For more than 10 years, billionaire Warren Buffett has auctioned off a lunch at a steakhouse in New York to raise money for the Glide Foundation. This foundation helps the homeless in San Francisco. Hedge fund managers and gaming companies have paid more than $2 million for this lunch in previous years. In 2016, however, an anonymous donor won the eBay auction with the statistically sequenced bid for an enormous $3.5 million. Talk about an expensive lunch date. Preserved shark. Strange art always seems to sell well and big. British contemporary artist Damien Hirst is known for his obsession with death seen in his high-priced and ghastly styles of art. In 2004, he sold a tiger shark preserved in formaldehyde, titled The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living. He sold it for a monstrous $8 million. The 22-ton shark, which is obviously dead but kept scarily preserved, embodies life, death, and justifies its title. Which auction from this video were you most fascinated by? Leave your comments below and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more notifications.